Good afternoon. This is a tutorial on how to use my brand new diesel mechanical control E2. There is a GitHub here to find the E2. Here you can find the check commands for the E2, version number, etc, etc. These are the features here in the E2 as well. Your sounds, stall sound, gear sounds, brake sounds, etc, etc are all here. This config here basically tells the chip if the engine sound can go high pitch or not. By default it's off, so when you're driving along it'll change sounds, but the sounds won't go to a different pitch. And then you've got your brake moles for your independent and train brake, your handbrake, how fast your clutch wears out, how many gears you have, your gear config, which goes from low to high, your RPM, and your target RPM, which is dictated by your throttle. So basically throttle 10 will try to reach notch 8, and notch 8's target RPM is 2300 RPM by default, but you can also change this as well to what you'd like. If you are going to change the engine minimum RPM, you need to change it here, here, here. That's pretty much it for the config in the main E2. But all of this is also subject to change. This E2 is still early access. Now, for the startup E2, this isn't necessary, but I would advise that you use it for it. This basically just gives it a startup sound, a shutdown sound, and then also particle effects and running particle effects as well. Which you've got your config here, which is relatively straightforward. 0 or 1 will turn on this specific phase that you want. You've got 4 different phases that you can choose from, and then the different particle effect that you would like to use. This is all interchangeable, so you can put any particle effect in there that you'd like. You've got your spawn sound, your startup sound, and your shutdown sound, and then your idle particle effect and your throttle particle effect. That's it. So now we'll begin wiring it. You're gonna want 2 numpads, one with H, one with backspace. I use backspace for the repair function, but you can set it to anything you'd like. Now, to start wiring everything, you'll want to start with your startup E2. I'm just going to go on signal to your on key, and then throttle 1, throttle 2, negative throttle. Right? Active, we're going to wire to delayed signal, W. Basically all your OLC inputs, you wire them how you normally would. Because this E2 is based off OLC. It's not the same, it's significantly different to OLC, but its basis is the same. Now, space doesn't control the brakes anymore. Space just resets the throttle. I still wire that to space, but you don't have to wire it at all. Clutch, I like to wire to mouse 2. Train brake, wire that to space, because that's your brake. Independent brake, I wire that to shift. Handbrake to H, and then repair to your other numpad, which I have set as backspace. Now we'll go to our particle effects. Now I've got 2 here for my funnel. I've got a heat wave effect, so you can see that there in the recording. And then I've also got a smoke effect as well for my funnel. We're going to start with the heat wave, go back to the chip, just the exhaust chip, we'll go heat wave emit. Back over here we'll go to our smoke effect chip, particle plate, go to clag roots blower, A, go back down, particle on, and then the effect string, that will go to particle string. Now we can go to our controls in our cab. We're going to go to our main control board, which is this. So we'll have our throttle, and it's going to go to combined output, our reverser, which goes down to reverser output, brake, we'll wire that to shift, and our train brake, which we'll wire to space. Now brake and train brake, just wire them to what you want your brake setup to be. So brake, for example, is your independent, train brake is your train brake. Normally in RLC your throttle will be 1 to 10. In this chip it's -10 to 0 to +10, but that's because I couldn't get a normal throttle and reverser to work properly, so I've just faked it for now, but that'll be changing in coming updates as well. So when the chip detects that the engine is moving forwards, it'll set the reverser to forwards. When it detects it's going backwards, it'll change it to backwards. That'll only work if the throttle is in the positive or the negatives. Now you also want to wire current gear to your gear. That just tells out what gear it wants to be in. We want to wire A, which is RPM, to RPM. Then optional, you can also have current gear as well. You don't have to have this, but I wire that to gear as well. You don't need to have the RPM or the current gear screen there. It's optional, but I like to have it. I'm going to also wire my speedometer to there. You can find this in Mags Pack on FCNN. You can also wire in your temp gauge to engine temp, your clutch to clutch. So now if we've done everything correct, this will start up. You'll get a blip in the chat that will say startup procedure finished. Once that's finished, you can get in your engine and drive it. This E2, you can stall the engine. So if I go hold my clutch in, shift up with A or D, I can put it in second and stall it. Right. You cannot stall it if you're in second or higher. So you have to shift back down, start it up, shift it back down. You have to wait for it to start up, and then shift back down. It will say in chat that the engine's stalled. Once it stalls and you're in gear 1, you can simply press W and start again. Just like that. To shift up, you'll want to have some revs around 600, 700 RPM. Shift into second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Now there you've seen I've been shifting up at around 700 RPM, and the RPMs drop with each gear change. So it's probably better to have more RPM than that, when you are driving continuously, you'll be sitting around the 1000, 1500 RPM range, which is ideal. Now, if I go to just drive normally, you'll see there's also gear damage as well. So if I keep changing gears, I can blow the gearbox. Now, you can also repair the gearbox by pressing backspace, just like that, and then we're away. But you need to make sure that you're in first. Just like that. Now if you hold the clutch in for too long, you'll wear out the clutch. That's also configurable. If your clutch is worn out and you go to change gear, the clutch in, blow the gearbox. And as you can see, if you try to use the locomotive while you're in too high of a gear, it'll stall out. So you need to go back to first, try again. Now, when you do break the clutch and you repair, it still says the clutch is broken. That's a bug. I haven't fixed that yet, but anyway. That's pretty much the chip. You can overheat the engine too. You'll see this temp gauge. If I just absolutely redline it, it will eventually overheat. It takes a bit of time, but it does get there. It will eventually overheat and break. You'll get these temp warnings in the chat when you're working your engine too hard. It takes a bit of time, about 25 seconds for the engine to break. Just like that. And then you can start over again once you've repaired it. That's pretty much it. Any questions, message me on Discord. It is Loozs45 on Discord. Feel free to contact.